Okay, this is Taylor Johnson here with Encore and I'm sitting here today at the Black Box in Belfast with Jilly St. John, the front woman of Wildwire's Wyldling. Jilly, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us.
Not a problem.
Really, really appreciate it. Jilly's just played a fantastic headline show here. It's absolutely brilliant. The crowd absolutely loving it. I'm just going to ask you a few wee questions, Jilly, just sort of about your musical journey so far and where you came from and where you're hoping to go, if that's okay. That's alright. Cool. So Jilly, obviously you're the dynamic front woman of Wyldling. You're the face of Wyldling, so the image sort of falls on you. And you've got some fantastic comparisons of saw when I was doing some research, like the Joan Jett, even Hayley Williams from Paramore more recently, which is it's fantastic. I'm sure you agree. So, first question for you: have you always wanted to be in a band? Has that always been a long-term ambition of yours? To be in music? Has it always been something you've wanted?
I think one of my early memories of being a child, and I'm sort of talking about the age of 2 or 3, was stood in front of the Top of the Pops in my pyjamas with a little hairbrush singing along to Taxi by Vanessa Paradis. So yeah, I would say that it's always been there. I love performing. I think as a younger child, before sort of life took hold of me, I would have been a little bit of a show off, but I quickly found my humility. And it's funny actually, whenever I was growing up, music wasn't really a proper career path, you know. It wasn't taken very seriously back then. It was sort of a special few got to do. So this is sort of only something that I've gone back into in the last 4 or 5 years. And better late than never, I say, because I'm absolutely loving it. I have to say, I don't want to do anything else.
That's fantastic. And am I right in saying you started your musical career with the band No Mean City? Correct
yeah. Well, my original career. I mean, like I've done the whole X Factor, Nancy thing. I hated it. It was horrible. It destroyed me and my self-esteem, as I'm sure it has for many others. So you'd be dead against the whole X Factor format, the sort of manufactured pop star? I think it works for some people, but I mean, it's very small portion of people that works for. I'm definitely for doing your own thing, developing your own skills in terms of writing and performance, and there's nothing better than experience. You know, you see all those people on television who are absolutely killed with nerves, and I used to be like terrible like that.
So you wouldn't think that now, Jilly, because you very much became like the sort of indie pin-up now, you know,
it's just like
generations.
It's definitely experience. You know, my first gig, my first few gigs actually, I used to get absolutely blocked.
No way.
And then I would video them and watch them back and see how terrible I was. But the whole time I thought I was a rock star. So it's a work in progress, and hopefully it'll continue to be one as well. I'm always trying to improve what we're doing. So.
Well, Jilly, I can tell you now, it's fantastic. I've saw it a few times. It's always been brilliant. And that leads me to my next question. Do you have any sort of musical influences in terms of your performance? Because you are very well known for your sort of theatrical aspects.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you sort of would take inspiration from there?
It's funny, well, maybe not so much inspiration, more maybe influence, maybe what I saw sort of growing up, like Kate Bush, Gwen Stefani, Joan Jett, as you've already mentioned,
fantastic.
Patti Smith, and all that kind of thing. But whenever I go, you know, a lot of people wonder, and I have been asked on more than one occasion, you know, about choreography and practicing live shows, but we don't practice any of that. I just kind of get up and
just go for it?
Go for it. And I don't know what's coming next. I never know if I'm going to fall over or not, but I just go with it, and if I fall over, I try to recover in the most stylish way possible.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Jilly, Wyldling's now, your original sets now are going down fantastically, very, very strong, you know, listening back there, songs like Siren that you close with, Friend that you don't always get to play live, but you did tonight and it sounded amazing, Little Girl of course as well, you know, they're now becoming real crowd favourites, guys are really digging your stuff now. I want to know, how did Wyldling actually write, you know, how does it come about, how would a Wyldling song develop, would you lay down a chord progression, you put words to it, or how does it develop like that?
It's different each time. I mean, in the beginning we didn't really have access to like practice spaces or things like that, so we would have learned our songs sort of as individuals away from each other, and then sort of got to do them through sound check or whatever, and things like that. But generally speaking now, it's kind of changing. It was quite separate in that Glenn and I would sit and he would sort of go through guitar sounds because he plays, and you know, I might come along and I hear something in a song, you know, like a synth or a big bass or something. I'm like, I want to get that kind of effect.
Yeah, you want that sort of vibe.
You know, so there's a lot of to and fro between Glenn and I, and he'll sort of he'll do the bulk of that, you know, but then I'll come back in whenever he feels like he's got something to present to me. And
cool,
we'll sit and arrange together, and I'll take it away and write then, and that sometimes changes the tune as well. And then Phil and Kirby come in, and sometimes what they put into it will completely
it's all adding to it. It's very much group effort.
It's actually Siren and Demons in particular. Those two songs have been a work in progress, and for months, even maybe a year and a half now in Siren, and it's something that we find the comfort within it and find the finished product through playing it.
Through playing it,
Because the more comfortable you are, the more you play with it, the more you find nuances within it. So it's always, we're always changing it. Like,
I love it, yeah, brilliant. And Jilly, out of your original tunes now, what's your favourite one to play live? Is there any that, you know, either gets a brilliant crowd reaction, or maybe one that simply just means a lot to you lyrically, you know, something that, you know, really you're sort of feeling it every time you go for it?
I think I have two. I think the first one's Marionette.
Very nice.
As I mentioned there during the live show, it was actually written about a guy who reviewed us and completely slated us, comparing me to Spinal Tap and all sorts of things, and actually wrote the line that I had no substance. We had no substance behind us. And Marionette was written in reply to that, because he doesn't actually know me. He's never met me, and that was the review of a gig.
Doesn't get what you're about.
Yeah, and he had never seen us play live, because we hadn't played live at that stage, so he didn't really know what he was talking about. But people are always there to judge, you know, and particularly for me, because it's very difficult for me to try and separate my personality, which is quite fun and amicable, you know.
Completely.
But people have business dealings with me, and I have to be a stronger, different person in that context. So people tend to get the two confused. So Marionette's personally special to me because it's a proclamation of, don't judge me, you know, you don't know who I am.
Fantastic.
If you know me and you don't like me, I can live with that, that's fine, you know. The other one's probably Siren, just on a lighter note. I love dancing to it, I love singing it, I love the sound of it.
It sounds like a hit, you know. You hear it and you just get motivated straight away.
The big guitars and the synths and all, they get right into the core of you. Like, if you're not tapping your foot to that, at least there's something wrong.
Completely. Oh, it's brilliant. Well, I think it's fantastic anyway. Here's another question, Jillian. I've actually thought about this for a long time, and I'm so delighted I get the chance to actually ask you.
I'm scared.
No, it's still not a bad one. Wyldling, what a brilliant name. It's a fantastic name, very unusual. I don't know, what's actually behind that? How did you come up with that name, and what does it actually mean?
Wyldling is a funny one. I think it's brilliant, you think it's brilliant.
Love it.
Brilliant. Not everybody knows we're called Wyldling, actually. I've fans who have followed us from the beginning. I don't like using the word fans, but that's for the purpose of interview. Who didn't know that we were called Wyldling. They've been calling us Wylding. Rigsy calls us Rigsy. You call us Wylding all the time. We're Wyldling, and it came from...
Rigsy has a habit of forgetting names.
We love him anyway. We love him. It came from, I was sort of scrolling through Instagram, and there was a quote from Game of Thrones showed up on an Insta quote, if you will, and I looked up the word because I liked the sound of it, and it meant sort of cosmic being and a conflict between good and evil, and how they like to do their own thing, and they were sort of ethereal in that you couldn't quite catch them, but they were always sort of there. And I just thought that sort of encompassed what I wanted to be about as an artist, like, so that's where it came from.
Very interesting.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, I'm so delighted to hear that. So Jilly, I'm right in saying at the minute you've got Little Girl out as a single at the minute, am I correct in saying that? Do Wyldling have any EPs out, just for the people listening at home? Do you have anything out at the minute they can
nearly
buy?
Everything that's in our set currently that we're playing with is available for free download at wyldling.bandcamp.com.
Heard it here first, folks. Wyldling.bandcamp.
So there's some stuff that we play there, there's stuff that we don't play, and we're writing at the moment, and we hope to have another release out before Christmas.
Because I was actually on your Bandcamp earlier on listening through, and there's actually a brilliant orchestral version of Siren, which is absolutely breathtaking.
That's funny. I got to it was actually Culture Night last year that was written for in Derry. I got to walk in a fashion show as part of Culture Night in Derry, and our band played then after the actual fashion show. So the orchestral piece was written and produced by Glenn, actually.
Oh, very cool, yeah.
Specifically for the fashion show.
Yeah.
Because we didn't think that Wyldling was maybe as we are. Like, it was a bit bold for walking to. There was a couple of tracksuits, but it worked really well. It was.
I love it. It's
Glenn's a wee genius, like the software.
And it's got beautiful vocal range as well, my word, you know. Startling. Okay, so hypothetical gig, Jilly, right? This will be good fun, right? You're headlining your own gig and you can pick any 3 bands who have ever existed to support you. Who do you pick?
Oh.
It's always a fun one.
That's so hard.
It's interesting.
Cyndi Lauper.
Right, okay.
Cyndi Lauper is going to support me because I'm going to work so hard before that gig so that I can best Cyndi Lauper.
Awesome.
That is a hard job, but in my hypothetical gig, I do it. And I nail
brilliant
it.
Stuff.
Maybe the Foo Fighters, just because Dave Grohl is such a funny and lovely man.
He's a great guy.
A great talent, like of our time now.
Oh, he really is, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, that'd be.
Okay, alright, love it. Nice one.
I'm sure there's like 100 others, but I can't think off the top of my head.
It's very, very hard putting the spot. Don't worry, not too many questions left. I just want to ask you, Wyldling, you're obviously touring now an awful lot, and you'll get a chance to play with loads of an eclectic group of different bands. Is there any coming through at the minute that you're really excited about? Any that you sort of tip for big success? You think, you know what, I can see them doing big things in the future?
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm sure everybody who follows the music scene here in Northern Ireland knows it's pretty much at saturation point, wherein everybody's in a band, so there's so many that come through, like on a daily basis even.
Oh, yeah.
And so seeing ones that stand out, you know, it can be quite hard. There is one band that I can think of off the top of my head, Diane Breed.
Okay.
And they're, where are they from? I think they're from Limavady, maybe?
Right, cool.
I could be wrong. I apologise, boys, if you're not from Limavady. But they are just incredible live. James, the frontman, is just phenomenal. The energy off him, like he's bouncing off ceilings, walls, you name it. And their tracks are like stellar, so I love them.
Nice one.
And I have a little space in my heart for mental death.
Mental death?
Mental deficiency.
Okay.
They're a Belfast band, you should check them out.
Right, okay, cool.
I love those guys, very theatrical, they are dedicated to their cause, and they don't care who knows it, and
brilliant stuff.
They're a great professional band, like I love watching them.
Alright, okay, awesome, fantastic. And Jilly, last question for you. Wyldling journey, it's taken you now to where you are, and I mean you just played Glasgow as well, which is a fantastic gig, went to that, you absolutely rocked it. What is next? What's the next chapter in the Wyldling story? Where can you see yourselves going, and what do you have plans for the future?
Oh my goodness. I try not to plan for the future because I think in this industry today, I don't think anything's ever set in stone. I mean,
you never know.
There's so many fantastic bands in Northern Ireland who have never sort of made that jump to a commercial level, even though they could easily compete with anybody in the charts. So we try not to plan that, but we just keep doing what we're doing, keep improving what we do. I mean, like I'm learning to throat whistle at the minute.
Right,
I can do it.
Right.
What's Glenn doing? Glenn, what are you doing at the minute?
Everything.
Glenn does everything. Glenn runs the nerve centre, basically.
Brilliant
doesn't
stuff.
He? And he runs like all these other bands. He is the ruler of the world.
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, so just release some more music, gigging where anybody will have us.
Fantastic.
Hopefully maybe the UK and the South as well.
I mean, after tonight's performance, I don't know who wouldn't take you, honestly. It's absolutely brilliant.
Tell all your friends then.
Well, I dare say a lot of them will be listening, and to everyone else, guys, this has been Wyldling. They have been absolutely fantastic. Jilly, thank you again for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Taylor.
We really, really appreciate it.
You're such a sweetheart. Young girls, if you're watching or listening to this, sorry, not watching, Taylor's a wee bit of a cutie. You should go and check out his Facebook.
Yeah, sure. Hit me up on Facebook, and also hit up Wyldling on Facebook because they are fantastic. This has been Taylor Johnson for Encore and I with Jilly St. John and Wyldling. Thank you very much. Goodbye.